Only hours to go in 2024. Time to reflect on a year gone by. Time to meet up at the Prescott Regional Airport, home of Ernest A. Love Field. Usually the airport is buzzing with student aircraft from the nearby Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, but today in holiday mode the skies are quiet. Going for rides in winter is somewhat of a luxury. For most, weather arbitrates possibilities, along with willingness and skill in handling subpar conditions. It was cold but clear on my last ride of the year, elevation 5,045 feet. 4 of us decided to go to lunch in Seligman, Arizona. It's a standard trip for us. It's not local, but it's not far away either. An RT was in the lead, followed by a GS, then an RS 1200. Then me as sweeper with my 1250. We headed north on State Route 89 through Chino Valley. We avoided Chino's business district with a detour on country roads. Then it would be a straight shot to I-40. New Year's Eve 23 doesn't seem that long ago. That's the day I traded in my Triumph Tiger Sport for the RS. According to my BMW app, I've logged 65 rides this past year. New Year's Eve is a good time to look back. Consider what I think about those rides and the RS, now that I've had it a year and put thousands of miles on it. Some detours are awkward to negotiate, but the one that bypasses busy Chino is like an easy chair. Riding along past ranches and open fields, it occurred to me how comfortable I've gotten on the RS. During my first test ride, I knew the adjustment wouldn't take long. I had my doubts before that test ride. After all, the RS is 80 pounds heavier than my Triumph. But the low-slung boxer engine on the RS creates a great center of gravity. As a result, surprisingly, I found low-speed maneuvers on the 1250 RS just as easy, if not easier, than on the Triumph 660. I attribute this not only to the low center of gravity, but also to BMW's shift cam technology, which varies valve timing and valve lift. While the full load cam provides maximum valve lift, a reduced valve lift is available via the torque cam. A more simple explanation would be the engine opens up in proportion to the demand on it. It doesn't panic or stall at low PMs or slow movements made within the friction zone. Both the Tiger and RS are classified as sports tours, but one is middleweight, the other is not. Sure, you can tour on the Tiger 660, but the difference in power, comfort, and features on the RS makes all the difference. It's like cutting down a tree. You can use a handsaw or a chainsaw. The tree will come down either way, but the process goes a whole lot smoother and quicker with the option that has more power and features. Both bikes have 17-inch wheels, a 32-inch seat height, a 6-speed wet clutch, TFT display, adjustable windscreen, ABS, traction control, ride modes, and now the Tiger also comes with cruise control and quick shifter standard. Both have about the same gas tank size. The Tiger's is 4.5 gallons, the RS is 4.7 gallons. There's optional heated grips, LED fog lamps, USB charger, auxiliary power socket, and tire pressure monitoring system on the Tiger. But the biggest difference I feel between the bikes is in engine and braking power and the strength of the suspension. The Tiger has 81 horsepower at 10,250 RPMs. The RS has 136 horsepower at 7,750 RPMs. The Tiger has 47 foot-pounds of torque at 6,250 RPMs. Whereas the RS has 105 foot-pounds of torque at 6,250 RPMs. For brakes, the Tiger has in the front Nissan twin-disc 2-piston sliding calipers and a rear single-piston sliding caliper. For the RS in the front, there's two Brembo 320mm disc and a 4-piston caliber. In the rear, a Brembo 276mm disc and 2-piston caliber. For suspension, the Tiger has a Showa upside-down separate function cartridge fork in the front and Showa monoshock rear with preload adjustment. The RS has an upside-down telescopic fork in the front and a cast aluminum single-sided swing arm at the rear with preload and rebound damping. All of these stats translate into a powerful, stable, and highly responsive ride on the RS. For long rides and fast interstates, I would much rather be on the RS and have its extra torque, braking power, and matching suspension. The concept of the RS has existed with BMW for over 40 years. The legendary R1250RS in 1976 started it all. The idea was to create a touring bike with the feel of a bit more sporty than the RT, the flagship tourer at the time. The RS didn't invent the idea of sport touring, but its fairing fixed to the frame with a 980cc boxer refined the idea to realize the concept more fully in a sweet spot of function and performance that worked. The RS has its competitors, of course, the Kawasaki Contours and H2 SX SE, Suzuki's GSX S1000 GT, the Yamaha FJR 1300 ES, and Tracer 9, and the KTM 1290 Super Duke GT, all compete in the RS space. But one could argue these bikes exist because of BMW's pioneering sport touring evolution that, like the RS, predates all of them. If you go to the BMW's website to order an RS, you won't find it listed under the touring section. Having both sport and touring in its name, BMW opted to place the RS alongside the S1000RR and other 1000cc inline fours. The RS runs with fast company, but it also can be viewed as a cut-down version of the RT. Slim the RT's fairing, add 1.6 inches to the wheelbase, and drop 79 pounds, and the same 1254cc boxer is now RS instead of RT. Both bikes can do a bit of stoplight racing with their 0 to 60 in 3 second get up and go. The quick shifter on the RS is great at some things, not so great with others. Going up in low gears from first to second to third, shifting is clunky unless the right RPM is available to support the shift. On the positive side, quick shifting down from high gears with engine braking is just as it should be, butter smooth. The version of the RS I ride has the $2,900 premium option package. That includes saddlebag mounts for luggage, Gear Shift Assistant Pro, otherwise known as a quick shifter, a chrome exhaust, center stand, dynamic electronic suspension adjustment, heated grips, ride modes including the customizable Dynamic Pro setting. There's also cruise control, keyless ride, tire pressure monitor system, and a GPS preparation if you get another option, the expensive BMW Navigator 4, 5, or 6 system. BMW owners have mixed reviews of the OEM Navigator system, many finding other options with better map displays and reliable connectivity. On most BMW touring models, a 10.25-inch TFT with integrated map navigation comes standard. But the RS keeps things sporty with a smaller 6.5-inch TFT without map navigation. Like other models, love it or hate it, the RS has the now familiar multi-controller dial for TFT menu surfing. Once you get used to it, you find it works well. On the other hand, the BMW Motorrad app is not all it should be or could be. It's not good for navigation, but if you log into it, it does specialize in harvesting all your data and photos from your phone. You get trip records and basic stats, yes. Meanwhile, data miners in Munich get everything too. Many find the way the app is structured more intrusive than helpful. It does try to be an inducement, though, to spend $800 to $1,000 on an optional navigator device in hopes of adding some true utility. My bike didn't come with BMW's hard touring cases. I hear those things can carry 4 12-packs of your favorite beverage quite easily. But I also know those cases will set you back $1,200 to $1,500. I opted to spend 1/3 of that amount on soft saddlebags and top case from SW Motec. The Motec design features quickly detachable rails that the saddlebags slip onto, and a top case that easily straps down. Inside the bags are waterproof bags for protection from wet weather. The saddlebags are easily lockable with any lock system you like. Another thing I like, on days I'm not touring, the whole Motec system, top case, saddlebags, and most importantly the supporting rails can be easily removed, thereby restoring the bike to a full sport bike profile. When I compare the RS to other bikes, it's definitely a give and take. I could have effortless touring on an RT or K1600B Grand America, but I would lose the sports bike feel. It's true the RS is not a full sports bike and doesn't share the rocket cylinder power of the inline 4s in its class. The RS ride misses the absolute thrill of the leader bike power, but in exchange I get a touring ride that I can relax from rather than recover from at the end of the day. It all comes down to the type of riding you want to do and what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. Some say that hybrid bikes like a sports tourer that tries to do two dissimilar things at once winds up not doing either of them well. Well, I guess that's the trick and the challenge that BMW was willing to tackle. After a year with the RS and 65 rides and thousands of miles, I feel they succeeded in delivering both a sports feel with touring capability. Not an easy feat. I also find it amazing that it seems to me the RS gets very little limelight from its maker, BMW. All the advertisements and newsletters and BMW publications I see, even the MOA Riders Group, have no problem endlessly featuring the GS, GSA, and RT. But it's rare if ever if I see a feature done to highlight the RS. It seems RS is BMW's brilliant little secret, and only word of mouth from satisfied riders who love the bike keep the mystique going, proven by lots of enjoyable road experience. So after about an hour and a half of riding, the four of us rolled into Seligman. I had skipped breakfast, so I was surely ready for lunch. As bikers around these parts know, there are two main places to eat in this small town, and conveniently enough they're located across the street from each other. One is Lilo's Cafe, the home of the famous carrot cake. Mosey across the center line and you'll find yourself at the Roadkill Cafe and OK Saloon, which is a bit more touristy but also has fine food. Their motto is, you kill it, we grill it. Their menu offers such things as deer delectables, bad break steak, fender tenders, splatter platter, swirl a squirrel, big bag stag, and highway hash. Everybody has their favorite, but today the leader led us to Lilo's, which was just fine. Oh, on another ride, I swapped bikes with the RT on my right here and rode it on Lake Mary Road. If you'd like to check that out, you can see that video. Rolling out of Lilo's, one can't help but see the big red Roadkill Cafe just across the street. You don't have to guess, there's a fierce rivalry between the two places. Many bikers prefer Lilo's because of their emphasis on a rich menu of food. Plus at Lilo's there's parking special for motorcycles. At Lilo's they like to say no gimmicks, just great food. Which is true, although they do have a white wine drink called Squealing Pig Sauvignon Blanc. And if you want a giant cinnamon roll big enough to tip your bike over, they've got that too. Towns like Seligman tried to hold on to the old mystique of Route 66. Founded in 1866, the town used to be called Prescott Junction because this was the junction of the Prescott and Santa Fe Railroad lines. The name changed to Seligman to honor Jesse Seligman, a once prominent New York banker who financed railroad construction companies. For 100 years, this area was all about railroads. A big railroad repair facility used to operate nearby. In 1987, Arizona dedicated the old stretch of 66 from Seligman to Kingman as historic Route 66. They wanted to preserve the longest remaining stretch of the route left in the United States. It doesn't take long to ride through Seligman, and not much of the old ways survive. In May each year, they host the Route 66 Fun Run, also known as Brothers of the Third Wheel Trike Rally. Maybe when I'm in town I see the old 66 because as a kid more than once my father drove me through it on the way from Los Angeles to St. Louis and back. Funny, but that was almost 66 years ago. It took a while to make this video. I had things I wanted to say, but realized no one really wanted to hear them. Then I thought of things people probably wanted to hear, but I had no interest in saying them. Ultimately, I found it more effective to have a conversation with myself. If anyone wants to overhear that conversation, fine. Looking back on all the rides of 2024 makes me think of all the rides of my life. Reviewing how I feel about BMW's R1250RS makes me think of other bikes in the past I've ridden. I can try to tell myself that the past, the future, and now are separate things, but it feels like they're all one thing in me, with no time involved. I'll give you an example. Open a door just a crack and watch a dog walk by outside. First you see nose, then head and ears, then you see moving legs, then body, then rear legs, then tail. You can say the nose and head and legs and body and tail are separate things, because the perspective of the crack makes you see them in false sequential order. Open that door and suddenly all those things become just dog, just one thing. To look back on a year gone by is no different than looking back on a life gone by. Compared with others I ride with, I started late into motorcycling as an adult, not a kid. Compared to their non-stop riding experience since they were young, I'm just getting back into it. I was 27 years old when I first rode a bike. I was over at a coworker's house, checking out his Honda 750. He asked if I wanted to ride it. I had never ridden before. He assured me it was easy. He said, "Here's the clutch, the throttle, the front and rear brake." He handed me the keys and said, "Take it for a ride." I did, and that ride hooked me. That was 1981, and the bike I soon got was a Kawasaki. In a way, it now seems a bit crazy jumping on a 750 with no knowledge of riding and taking it for a spin. But fate sometimes gives a break to the folly of youth. I rode that bike for 17 years until my work transferred me out of state and I got busy doing other things for the next 24 years. The old saying goes, you'll never see a bike parked outside a psychiatrist's office. If you rode, you'd never need therapy. And it was cheaper than therapy, except as they also said, on a BMW, not by much. But I checked into it and found this cliche is wrong. Servicing a motorcycle nowadays is much more expensive than going to a psychiatrist. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average hourly rate for a psychiatrist in the United States is around $123.53. In Arizona, it's lower. It's $116.26 an hour. The last time I had work done on my RS, the labor rate for service was $179 an hour, $56 an hour more than a shrink overall, and $63 more than in Arizona. And if the repair work took only a fraction of an hour, the minimum charge was $85, even if it only took a couple minutes. I got a bill not that long ago for $650. $7.50 was charged for hydraulic fluid. The rest was labor. Reflecting on it, I have to ask myself, since it's cheaper going to a shrink, should I give up motorcycles and hit the couch? A lot of people are already on another couch in front of their TVs. That's their medication, more like indoctrination. There's lots of reasons for riding. We've heard them all. Lots of them long ago became slogans on t-shirts sold at rallies. Bottom line, if you like doing it and you're able, why not? People will push back and say, because it's expensive and dangerous. Those people will tell you you're crazy for being on a motorcycle at your age. Yeah, well, we're crazy. And that's why we ride. Because crazy people have a choice. Go to the shrink or hit the road. I don't know about you, but I know what I'm doing. Come along for the next few minutes with me. Think back on the year gone by. Think back on your life. Your only worry is keeping rubber side down. It's a joy to move forward. The curves thrown at you become something to look forward to. Let the bumps in the road smooth out the way ahead. You ride with others. At the same time, you ride alone. Life is the same kind of journey. You have to ride your ride, no one else's. And there's always another ride, until there isn't. For those who don't want to go on the ride, who need constant narration and frequent flashy new stuff to see, you'll want to skip ahead over this part. It's funny, but I know statistically most people who watch YouTube videos click away from them long before they're over. It's called retention rate. Based on those statistics, I know that most people are not even watching this part. 15 to 25 second long videos often get a 90 to 95% rate. 7 to 12 minute videos usually are in the 40 to 60% rate. If your video lasts 20 minutes, expect only 30 to 35%. YouTube says it's common for videos to lose 20% of their viewers in the first 15 to 20 seconds. These statistics drive content creation as creators chase the audience and pull out every trick to keep them watching as long as possible. Many of those tricks are gimmicks, even if they work. Over time, they feed back upon the audience in a loop of behavioral conditioning. One has to wonder how we're conditioning ourselves. The rat will keep pushing the button as fast as it can as long as it gets a pellet of food. But to appeal to our drives, we have to wonder, is it really food being dispensed? Maybe it's dopamine and we're addicted to our own chemicals. As we burn out our pleasure circuits, less and less satisfies, and we feel the need to push that button harder and quicker. We're punching the like button, but enjoying it less. Oh, and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.